This is the first video I've made for my HSC students in preparation for me not being around anymore. No, I'm not dead. I mean, I have taken some leave and I need you guys to continue on with the content, so therefore I'm making a series of videos. This is video number 1, and it is all about the new topic that we're going to study, which is called Chapter 2, Information Systems and Databases. Now, information systems are it's relatively simple to put them into a term called a database. And what we really do call them these days now, because you're getting bigger, is we think now that you're able to understand that they're actually what's known as a DBMS. That stands for Database Management System. And they're a lot more powerful than just your humble, one-tabled student information database. They're a little bit more able to utilize processing and storage and stuff like that. So what I want you to do in this series of videos is I want you to have open your textbook, and I want you to access the Prezi and also listen to my voice, and you can take notes as we go along, and I might even help you out and talk about what notes you should be taking. But let's begin. Okay, so this first topic is 2.1, which the title is Information Systems. And information systems, I've already explained to you, are basically DBMSs, and they perform the information processes of collecting, organizing, analyzing, storage, and retrieving. So the first part of this is to actually look at, in your textbook, the image 2.1. Now, I'm not going to get that up on this screen here, but I'm going to say to you that you can see there are some very important parts of the computer, and there's 5 components of a computer: the input, output, storage, processing, and control. And they're basically the terms that we need to understand, that inside an information system, that's what it's doing. It's working with the computer, and it's making sure that it's doing those 5 main areas of control. So that's really important to understand that. And it says the relationship between the elements of an information system is described in this figure. The links between the elements are represented using arrows. Information systems are created for a purpose and operate in a particular environment. So that's pretty straightforward. Now, when you think about it, information systems have a number of characteristics. The first one being that they have an organization of data into information, where data must be organized before it can be stored and analyzed. Careful thought is needed to organize the data, otherwise the resulting information will be meaningless. What we have to do is define these 2 terms, data and information, and I've done that quite a number of times with you. Data is like the raw facts that are put into the computer, and the information, it becomes information when it is actually processed. The other thing, the characteristics of an information system, they allow us to analyze them, analyze the information to give us some knowledge. So once we put all the data in, we can then analyze that information and get some information out of it. So that's pretty straightforward as far as looking at the information and finding out trends, for example, and all sorts of things like that. Moving on, we have different types and purposes of information systems, and these ones are typically examined a little bit, but not too much in the HSC. What they tend to do is they ask you to try and recognize the different types of information systems if they give you a scenario. So what they'll say is, this one collects, stores, modifies, and retrieves daily transactions. Well, that would be a transaction processing system. Or they'll look at, say, one has expert information in it, and you have to make a decision about that, and that becomes what's known as an expert system. But if we look at all of them, we need to know all 5 of them. And the first one is a transaction processing system. And what a transaction processing system does is it collects, stores, modifies, retrieves the daily transactions of a business. The classic example of transaction processes is POS, which stands for point of sale. And another classic example of POS is FPOS. And FPOS allows businesses to operate and do real-time purchasing. Now, one of the things about this is there is a batch processing, which means that it has a time delay on the processing, which allows all the transactions to be collected and processed later. And that's not very effective real-time processing, because you don't get to see, for example, maybe you might want to be keeping an eye on your stock and you don't get that opportunity to be able to do that. The next one is decision support systems. And what they do is they provide information, models, and analysis tools so that people can make decisions about certain things about what's happening in the business. They tend to create a mathematical model, and these can be used inside spreadsheets, and we regard them as being able to create statistical tools and trends of things that are actually happening in the real world. Now, this is a video, I'm going to skip this video because you can watch it whenever you want, but it goes for a bit long, and it doesn't really do much about decision support systems, unlike what I've just explained there. The next one is expert systems. Now, what these do is they tend to solve problems that an expert would solve. So how many times have people said something funny where, you know, they put all their symptoms into the internet and of course they're dying of cancer? Well, an expert system sort of does that, but it really is able to sort of draw on its knowledge to be able to find something out. And I use a classic one. I might be able to show you here if I go onto the internet and I go 20 questions. All right, so something I probably should have prepared a little bit earlier, but there is a website here called 20 questions, and this is it here, not that one. I don't need that one. And I can say things like, all right, let's play this. We want to choose a language. Think in English, but think in British, that'll do. And none of the above, and let's play. So let's say I'm thinking about a dolphin, for example. Okay, so is it an animal, vegetable, mineral? It's an animal, right? Can you hold it? No, it's too big. Does it have hooves? No, it doesn't. Can it jump? Well, yes, it can. Does it live in a forest? No. Does it breathe? Yes, it does. Is it orange colored? No. Does it stand on two legs? No. Can you play with it? Oh, well, sort of. Yeah. Depends, I'll put in there. Can you control it? Yes, people do control them. Can you use it to hit something? Yeah, I once killed my wife with a dolphin. No, you can't hit someone with it. Is it part of a set? No, I don't think you've got any. No, it's not a whale. So, do you use it in public? No. Does it have ears? I don't know. Let's say yes. All right. Is it slippery? Yes, I would say it's slippery. Is it made out of wood? God, no. I'm guessing that it is a dolphin. You are right. Well done. I don't want to play again. You can get lost. Right. So that's what an expert system does. It draws on information about what experts would solve. And they're used for diagnosing, monitoring, selecting, designing. I can't spell designing. Of course I can't. That's designing. And predicting and training. So they're quite a good little product, and that 20 questions one is only merely just an example. I'm not going to show the video. You can watch the videos later. Then we have management information systems. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to make these a series of small videos. So I'm just going to pause this one here, and I'm going to create a new one after this one. So this is video number 1.